of my career chronicles, and we are back again. And today is a very interesting day because we are going to be dealing with a very sweet topic, so to speak. A topic that is very close to my heart, and it's called starting and building a career as a software engineer. The software engineering career has been at an evolving level in the last couple of years. And we are in the age of AI where everyone is asking questions. What's happening to the software engineering career? What is the future of software engineering career? How do software engineers navigate in this age of vibe coding? And I have 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's see the guest right here. She's almost here. Motunrayo Koyejo. All right, Motunrayo. I'm going to count again. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, I think she's trying to rejoin. I'm going to count again. 3, 2, 1, 0. Is she here? I think she's going to join us very soon. So, in this age of vibe coding, everyone is talking about what's the future of software engineering, what's going to happen. And today we're going to be talking about software engineering, how to build a career around it, how to develop your competencies, how to get into that industry if that is your desired industry. And I don't know if Motsu is having a challenge joining. I'm going to check in with her real quick. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think Motsu is trying to join. I don't know. All right. Mhm. Yeah, Motunrayo, you can just exit and try to join again. Whoops. Oh, I hope we get this figured out. Think she's still trying to join. I don't know. I'm not sure what the challenge. Mm, I think she's here, but I'm not sure. Mm. No, no, no. I think Motsu, you are already here, but I can't seem to see your screen. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we made it. There we go. Yeah, we made it. Hi, Motunrayo.
Hi, good afternoon.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm happy we finally made it. Confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Very good. And happy Sunday to you. Happy Easter and happy Easter, everyone. So just before you join, I was just telling everyone that we are in a very interesting time where the software engineering career is getting it's getting a very interesting conversation around it, this age of vibe coding and all of that. And for today's conversation, I wanted us to talk about starting and building a career in software engineering, especially in this age of AI. And a little introduction here, Motunrayo is a software engineer that she says she loves to build softwares that help businesses to grow. And she has worked with companies like Cowrywise and Brass. And today in this conversation, we are going to be going through about how she started and then moving into software engineering, or she has always been a software engineering from birth. I don't know, we'll find out. But that is basically the whole of this conversation. And Mutsu, if you are ready, I am ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so let's get started. And in typical my career chronicles way, I love to start from the very foundation. I love to start from where they started. It's called Where They Started, but for career. But I want to take this time to give a shout out to everyone who is joining us in this live session. As we do it here, Feel free to drop your questions. You can also chat on the comment section. Tell us where you're joining from, maybe your name and the country you're joining from or your location. And feel free to drop your question, whatever it is, and the guest is going to attend to those questions as we go. You don't have to wait till the end to drop your question. So, Motsu, my first question to you is going to be, it's a very conventional question. Tell us about growing up. How was growing up as a child? What schools did you attend? What course or what did you do as a child? Just tell us about that childhood growing up and then walk us through from that time up until maybe when you became an adult. That's a good way to start. Over to you.
Okay. Growing up was quite fun. Typical Yoruba family. I have an elder brother and I have younger sisters. Of course, they came later, but like I'm the second child of my family. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
The second child of my family. My parents, my mom, she runs a fashion store, while my father is a civil servant. I think maybe because we had computers while growing up, he kind of like made me know about got me introduced into computer very early. We had a desktop, the Windows XP. My brother really loves maths and computer, so I mean, I was always following his footsteps, basically, right? He's the genius. So I went to I schooled. I've been in Lagos most of my life, so I had my primary and secondary school education in Lagos, and my university education was in Obafemi Awolowo University, but I didn't think I was going to go into tech at that time. I mean, growing up, I've always wanted to be the finance babe.
Mm-hmm.
I studied economics, graduated 2-1, and then after graduation, I was supposed to start an internship and then start working in finance, and then I moved to tech. So it wasn't like it was something I had already planned when I was growing up. Oh, you were going to do this, blah blah blah. So, yes, so of course, because I had like access to a lot of these tools, like early computers, internet, and all of those things that told me kind of like developed my interest. I mean, I remember that as early as I already had my own personal computer, maybe as at SS. So even though most of the things we're doing were just encyclopedias and then dictionaries, maths, but that's just like the summary. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's an interesting childhood, and safe to say you're a Lagos girl. I mean, like they say, it in quotes.
Relax. Okay. Lagos mainland, not necessarily like posh Ikoyi babe. I grew up in Mafoluko Shodi, so
Okay.
it's mainland.
Okay, we'll come to that. But let's quickly talk about like that inflection point for you. Because I mean, I was going through your profile and all of that. And like you rightly said here, you studied economics. And typically, when people study economics, they're supposed to go work for KPMG, go work for PwC,
Yeah,
go
investment
work for
banking.
Deloitte, get into the banking industry. I mean, the banking industry is a big, very big industry in Lagos and even in
Yeah.
Nigeria. And for you, go work in H fund. As a matter of fact, I think people in H fund make more money than software engineers. So, what was that inflection point for you? What inspired that switch at that time? Maybe I think it's the period around 2019 and 2020. What caused that change at that time for you personally?
Okay, so after school, we finished our final exams, I think January 2019. But it took my school about 10 months, or my department about 10 months to post us for NYC. So between January and November 2019, I was just home. I got a few internships, but they were too far, and it was just a lot of logistics issue. So then I think before then in 2018, I had a neighbor that was in computer science. We were neighbors. He was my friend, and it was like we were staying like very close to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and he was learning how to code. Honestly, I feel like I started my career as like my tech career as like a joke, because I was always wondering why it was always frustrated when he's trying to solve stuff and it's not working, and then it's always, oh, it's not working. And I'm always like, guy, what did they do? Why you
What is not working?
what's happening? What's happening? Like I'm always teasing him. And then I remember that we had a conversation one day where he was saying that, oh, I couldn't do it. That it was like a challenge. And I wasn't even interested. It wasn't like I was interested, but it was like I'm always saying that what's he doing? Blah blah blah. And if I can show, he sent me one. 6 hours course on HTML and CSS. And that was like my first point into like tech or
Mm-hmm.
engineering. And then I was like, what's here? I tried watching it, but it was very boring. I'm not even going to like, because I slept off multiple times, and then I admitted that, oh, okay, what it's doing was tough. I mean, it's just now HTML and CSS, they look very basic to me now.
Yeah.
But then it was like, what's happening here? But after that time, we had like a conversation, and then he said things around, oh, you necessarily don't have to be in computer science. I mean, you already even have a laptop. I had a laptop then in school, and I was like, oh, I had a laptop that I can just go online and then learn about it, and I can even get a job. I can get like, the way it was interesting. I wasn't interested at this time, but I already had the knowledge that I could do software engineering, because my
Mm-hmm.
friend, even he was in computer science, but he wasn't going to class. It wasn't like what they were doing in school. Typical federal university. I don't know if you went to a federal university, but
I can relate.
okay. So he was telling me that it's not like it's what they are doing in class that is learning to build this thing, right? That you can just learn everything online. So when I went back home during or after my final exams, when I was calculating what I wanted to do, I was like, let me try it out. Let me just try it out and see. It was just out of my curiosity. And then I didn't just want to be at home for that extended, because we didn't even know at that time when it was February. I didn't know that we were going to States in November. It felt like maybe the next month, because our school kept posting us, don't worry, next month your name will come out. Don't worry, till November, right? So I was thinking that, okay, maybe I just have 1 or 2 months. Let me just play around this thing and see how it will go. And then
Yeah.
if it works out, fine. If it doesn't work out, I'll just. I mean, I was
Continue
still
with your
interested in
school.
finance then, because I was even applying for jobs in finance, internships
Right.
at that time, right? So it wasn't like I wasn't planning to switch. I was just interested. And then I attended one, I think around March 2019. There was one Microsoft conference I attended in Bagada. I can't remember the name. I think Virox Computers. I don't know if it's Virox or if I'm pronouncing it well. So it was a Microsoft event, and then they were talking about, Microsoft has like an ecosystem for most of the things they do. Microsoft 365, Power BI, data, and all of those things. And then that got me like interested in data, because everything about the conference was around data, but it was using Microsoft tools.
Mm-hmm.
So I got home, I started checking, and I realized that, oh, data is close to economics. So why am I stressing myself? Let me just do this data. I
Yeah.
already have the OT. I mean, I made like two friends from the event, 2 or 3 friends. I can't remember right now. I mean, most of them are still very present in my life, but I've made like people that were peer, and them too, they were trying to learn at that time too. So I started learning Power BI, SQL, um, which one? Excel. I knew Excel from school,
Mm-hmm.
but advanced Excel, Power BI, and SQL, they were like the three major things that I was learning then. And then I was building like soft, dashboard visualizations, and then I was just post. I can't remember if I was not active on Twitter at that time, but I knew that I was sharing them on my WhatsApp story. And then everybody was like, what are you doing? This girl, what are you doing? Then um this was still 2019. So
Yeah.
as at the time I went for NYC in November, I'd learned. Okay, so before then, before NYC in November, I attended AI Saturday Lagos. They used to have a class before COVID. AI Saturday Lagos used to have like physical classes in Unilag. So I was always going to every Saturday I was in Unilag. So at AI Saturday Lagos, I learned what we were practically learning were more advanced, because I participated in two cohorts. The first cohort, I missed a class, and by the time I came back the next time, I was confused. It looked like everything they were saying was gibberish. I missed the class to go collect my results in school, and then the next cohort I enrolled again. So at this time, I was not just a data analytics. I was not just into data analytics. I was now more of data science, machine learning, because we were building models in class. We were doing a lot of data science work using Python. At this time, I'd been introduced to Python. I'd been introduced to all these Python frameworks for ML, Pandas, Skitlearn, and all, Zindi. We had competitions on Zindi and all of those things. So I mean, I was ready for like a career in data science at that time, which was around before November 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for NYC, I started looking out for opportunities in data science, and I think this was when I realized that what I was learning was, I mean, I knew what I was learning, but there were no opportunities for me. Or most of the companies I was applying to, they were not. I mean, I'd gone to AI Saturday class. AI Saturday is, I don't know if you know them, but they're quite. They don't do physical classes anymore. But before COVID, they were quite good, and most of the things we were learning were like core data ML projects, right? So I'd learned all these things. I'd built projects, I'd done stuffs, but there was nowhere to apply my knowledge. So I kept applying. I later got one. They called it was a data science internship on my offer letter. But when I resumed, it was more of data analytics. Honestly, it was just Excel. I was the one that introduced, I mean, I was the intern, but I was the one that started introducing Power BI and SQL to the team. And then I
Yeah.
felt like everything I was learning was just like was just like it felt like a fraud. Like I'd use these things, but there was nowhere. I mean, I'm
To
tired of
apply.
playing with data on Kaggle and Zindi.
Yeah.
I want to build stuff for companies.
Real
And
data.
I mean, now it's easier now in this AI world, where if you have a skill and nobody's using it, you can just build stuff, build a tool, and maybe make it open source. I mean, I didn't know about open source then. Make
Mm-hmm.
it open source and people will use it, and before then you can even get like a job in a top a Fortune 500 company, right? But
Yeah.
then I started feeling frustrated because I'd learned all these tools and there was nowhere to apply it to. So I was going to the office. In fact, after the office, I'll stay back so I can use internet, office internet, unlimited, basically, to do like other things that were not office work, because the office work was not challenging me enough. I wasn't feeling challenged from
Mm-hmm.
the work I was doing. So thankfully, COVID happened, which was I resumed in February, 1 month. Then COVID happened in March. COVID happened in March. Yes, was it? Yes, COVID happened in March. The lockdown started in March,
Yeah.
and
Let's just say COVID
we stopped
escalated
going
to
to the office.
Nigeria in March. Yeah.
Yeah, in Nigeria, basically, I'm speaking about Nigeria now. Sorry
Yeah.
if we have everyone. I know people here are from maybe different parts of the world, but in Nigeria, the lockdown started in March. I mean, that's
Yeah.
when we knew that COVID was around. So
Yeah.
because I was not going to the office again, I think that I could see clearly. Like now, I don't have. There's no, because the office now, even the data I was working with, you cannot access the data if you're not in the office environment. So I needed to do something else. Like I was very hungry for knowledge. I can't even lie. Like my kind of person, I'm always curious to learn new things. I'm always wanting to learn. And these guys, Code is it Code Academy? They
Code,
had a
Code
free,
Academy. Yeah. Think of.
yeah, it's Code Academy. They released a free, they made their site free for everyone or for students during that time. I can't remember if it was for students or for everyone. Actually, I had access, basically. Don't
Yeah.
ask me how I had access. I had access. I had access to a free, I could learn any course. So I started initially. I checked the data science. I already knew everything that was there. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, what can I even do next? So I started with Python and then did the Python for backend now, not just Python for ML. I knew Python because I was working at AISAT, or I was learning at AISAT today classes,
Mm-hmm.
but I needed to use it for backend, or I was interested in backend. Not like I needed to use that. I was just interested, just trying to play around with things. And I think the friends that I made at AI Saturday classes too, them too, they were hungry for knowledge. We're similar people. So we're just trying new things. They had the code. I mean, they told me about the code academy stuff, yeah. Then we started learning. I was building dummy things with Python Flask. It was around this time I did 100 days of code. Then now at this point I was now active on Twitter. I did 100 days of code. 100 days of code. Now 100 days of code, I was just changing things. Like I started with learning Python for Flask. I learned Java. Like I was just at the point. I think I wasn't sure what I wanted at this point, because I mean I had a data science internship that was
Mm-hmm.
ongoing, but we were at home and it was chilled. There was really nothing happening, and
Yeah.
at the point, they even turned my role to technical writing because they saw that I was writing articles online.
Yeah.
So the work, I was already tired, and I wasn't having a good I wasn't enjoying it anymore. So at this point I'd already started learning. So with the Code Academy subscription, almost I was not going. I was so happy. Then from there, I started writing technical articles. I was just doing. I was everywhere basically. Back end,
Doing
but
everything.
I was not. I was still looking for data science opportunities because I felt like maybe it was the company I was working for.
Yeah.
And at the same time, then I remember that I applied for one backend internship, and then the person did not pick me because he said I didn't know JavaScript and Python was not enough. So from that rejection, I picked up JavaScript. I was just learning basically. And then I think my NYC ended October 2020. So I applied for another data science role again, only for me to resume. And I don't know how it happened. I spent like, I'm not sure it's on my CV because I removed it. So I think it should still be on my LinkedIn. I did spend up to 3 months there. I think I used like 2 months because as soon as I resumed and then they saw that I was writing online, they changed my role from the core of data science to writing data science articles, which I didn't like. So I I prayed for another job. And I left. So that's like the summary of how I like got started in tech. But now, like so far, I mean, it's over 5 years now. I've worked with majorly fintech companies as a software engineer, backend precisely,
let's
from
let's
learning
let's
how
get
to.
something there. Let's get something there because
Okay.
it feels like so many things happen. Learning
Yeah.
data, trying to get into machine learning, doing technical writing, and then COVID hit, and then you ran to Code Academy or whatever the name is there, and then you were now coding in Python and Flask, and you also went back to getting like a data science internship, which somehow landed you in technical writing along the way. So how did all of this come together, to now transition? At what point did you now transition into, I see Andela on your profile. What was that transition into back-end engineer or software engineering proper?
Okay. I
Or do,
think
do,
that
do you do you actually think all of these sort of came together at some point? Did they all come together at some point to contribute to something? Yeah.
yes. So I feel like the backend career started from me learning Flask.
Okay.
So I was learning Flask, I was building projects with it, or I was doing stuff with it basically. And then I was trying to see if I could get like a job with it. And it was COVID, people were working remotely.
Mm-hmm.
But the opportunities I was applying for, they were not, I mean, like two people rejected me because they said I didn't know JavaScript. Like that was the reason why they rejected me. And I had not learned JavaScript at that time. In fact, I was still part of the people that thought maybe JavaScript and Java was the same thing. So so that led me to learning JavaScript. But I wasn't really I was learning these things because that was what the industry was asking for. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you apply for something. And yes, so I joined Andela. It was an online learning program. But I think we had two physical sessions where we had like, I don't want to call it physical class, but it was like everybody in the class coming together and meeting each other. Then we had sessions, right? So it was
Mm-hmm.
online. I did a lot of I was learning from too many platforms. In fact, I used Linda. It was LinkedIn Learning was still called Linda then.
Yeah.
So the company I was working at in 2019, where I was interning, they had a Linda subscription. So with that subscription, I could access courses on Linda, but Linda is now LinkedIn Learning. I could access courses on LinkedIn Learning. I had the Code Academy subscription was like the main thing. I had the Andela with Google thing together. So I was at that point, I wasn't sure if I still wanted the data career or if I was trying to move to backend. I was just hungry, basically. I was just trying, always like trying to learn something that I don't know, because it felt like I was like, there was this very big sea, or let me call it ocean, and then I'm just there, and then I don't even know what next. So I was trying my best as much as possible, and I didn't do computer science in school. So I was trying as much as possible to learn as much as I can, so that when people talk to me or when they interview me, they can see that, oh, this girl knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the back end career started from the point I started learning Python, Python for backend, which is Flask.
Yeah.
Okay, did that answer your question?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. That was a good entry. Let's get into it right now, a bit more deeper. So there is this conversation in the tech world or even among software engineers around. You even mentioned it here: Java, JavaScript, Python. What framework to use? There is always a new framework every day. There is always a new language, or one is always
Yeah.
at competing the other one.
Improving.
And sometimes people, especially newbies, they tend to be confused because, I mean, you even had that experience where you're like learning this, learning the other one. You're just having to learn so many things that you're like wondering which one is even more important. So if you were to talk to your younger self, how would you go about this thing? Like, in what order would you follow from learning this to your younger self trying to be a software engineer? What order would you follow in this your learning process? Yeah.
Okay, so I think one of the first things I would do is understanding how the web works, right? For people that do not have like computer science background, well, we have the internet. Well, how did it come about? Because
Right.
I started with data, there were some um I don't want to say basic things because to basic can be subjective, right? So understanding how the web works is like the first thing before you even start writing like code, or how all these protocols come together. What is the internet? What is the HTTP? What is the HTTPS? How these things come together is like the first thing to know or to research on if you are trying to come into tech. And then there are so many fields, right? So you have to first, okay, me, I'm going to speak from the perspective of a software engineer. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know what to do, like instead of me jumping from data to, I mean, the technical writing was me writing about my experience to now back end. I would first sit down and understand what I want. I know that it can be hard because the problem I had then was I wanted to know everything because I felt like not having a computer science background was like a disadvantage, which is
Yeah.
not because people that had computer science background in school, it wasn't what they were teaching them in school. They had to learn on. Of course, they were writing the exams, but you can always learn everything on the internet. There is in fact, you can even get lectures from top schools. There's Harvard school online on YouTube. You don't even need to pay any course or go to Udemy. Like everything is on YouTube. You just have to follow the course step by step. So understanding how the web works, if I say how computer works, it might be like a bit too ambitious, but it's something that you should learn to as an engineer. Not just now they say there's a difference between developers and engineer. So aim to be like an engineer. Like you're not just writing code, you can understand code, you can optimize the code. So
Mm-hmm.
all these things are things that you need to like have at the back of your mind before you even start writing code, right? And then for languages, for a beginner, especially somebody that doesn't have like um computer science
Computer
background,
science
you can
background.
start with easy, yeah. You can start with easy languages like JavaScript, Python. Yeah, these two languages they have a big ecosystem. So even
Mm-hmm.
if you run into troubles, someone will definitely be able to help you on Stack Overflow or even on Twitter. Like these languages have like vibrant ecosystem and then you can use them for a lot of things. I mean, I was using Python for data science before I now learned Flax, and then I'm in back end, right? So knowing the two to like don't go and start killing yourself trying to learn Java. Of course, you can learn Java later on when you're already maybe mid-level or you've built like core or strong like projects with these languages like JavaScript and Python. But you can start easy. But I think you can use JavaScript now for front end, back end, some ML projects too. Even Python, same thing. So don't stress yourself with picking like overtly complex languages, and then because if you are not motivated to continue learning, you stop, right? So you need to see that you're making progress, like even if
Yeah.
it's small progress daily, at least day by day, daily you're making progress. Then you need to understand how databases work. There are two major types, which is relational and non-relational databases. The relational database is the popular ones are MySQL and Postgres. Of course, there are a lot of other ones. There's MariaDB. There are so many, but the popular ones you just need to know the distinct APIs, distinct databases. Um, MySQL, Postgres, and then MongoDB. Understand when to use them. You already have the language, you now know database, you understand how the web works. Now, life is good. We have LLM. Don't try to build a calculator. People are tired of seeing calculators. You can brainstorm on how to build something that is useful. You can try building something like a Chrome extension. It doesn't necessarily have to be complex. Maybe an extension that changes money. You can get the exchange rates for most countries. There are open APIs that list exchange rates often. Plug into their APIs, try to build it, deploy it. If you're deploying on Chrome, it's free. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think it's expensive. It's free to deploy because it's open source. Yes, you can try to build something that is open that everybody else can see and use, and then having that on your CV just by even posting it online itself, you are cracked. Some people already believe that you are too good. Do you get? So
Yeah.
life is not as it's easier now than it was in 2020. In 2020, I got frustrated because I was not seeing what to do. I couldn't, I mean, I was learning, but I couldn't see what to do with my, or I didn't think of how can my knowledge improve like other people for free. I was
Yeah.
thinking of, oh, I need to contribute to a company to make the company better so that I mean I can put it on my CV. But meanwhile, you can actually build for free and deploy and still put on your CV, and you're the owner. Now, this is not company's work. Nobody will say, why are you putting our company's work on your LinkedIn or do you get?
Yeah, I do. So you said something here which is going to take me to, let's talk about like online platforms. But let me just try to, for anyone listening to this or that will be listening to this, what Motunrayo is recommending is start by understanding how the internet works or how computers works, as the case may be, and then from there get into like learning one of the simplest language that you is available to you, Python, be it JavaScript. And then from there you can think about learning databases, Postgre, MySQL. And then you can now begin to build projects, and you can make your project open source, and you can leverage on the internet to build projects. And then she talks about putting your project out there on the internet as well, which takes me to our next question. People have like, we are living in the world where like so many things are going on now on the internet and all. You can just put your project on the internet, and then, I mean, people, I remember there was a case where someone was putting their project, people put their project on the internet, and then they get hired into Microsoft, they get hired into Google, they get hired into Twitter. There are examples everywhere. So let's talk about, how do you leverage, or how do you think software engineers or people trying to build a career in software engineering, how do you think they can leverage like some of these online platforms to build their career, like LinkedIn, Twitter, there is Facebook, there is Instagram, there is TikTok. I mean, name them. I can exhaust the list. So, but how do you leverage these platforms to like sort of build your career?
Okay. So this is one thing that even me as a person, I'm still constantly doing, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you are learning a tool or if you are a new software engineer or if you're just starting, don't be too scared of I don't know anything. What do I have to offer? Somebody else has already written about it. Somebody else has already spoken about it. Somebody else has already built it. There are so many people that have built like the example I gave earlier, Chrome extension. There are so many people that have done a Chrome extension that changes money. You can build your own too. Of course, if you are building it, you have to maybe offer like something that some people are not offering before so that people can use yours. But as a beginner that is coming into the field, don't feel like there's nothing to do because somebody else has already done it. And one
Mm-hmm.
thing that would help you, or that's this is irrespective of the career path you're in now, whether you're an engineer or even if you're in finance, writing on the internet is something that is very, 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 very valuable. And you don't necessarily have to lie because I see people come online these days and maybe lie about like write what they are not. Write about
Yeah.
your experience. Maybe you tried, you are just learning how to build software. You learned how the internet works today. You can write a post about it on LinkedIn or Twitter. Twitter works too. You can write a post about it. I mean, me, I know about Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm not very active on Instagram, so I might not be able to speak on that. But for
Mm-hmm.
Twitter and LinkedIn, you can write, oh, today I learned how the internet works. These are the protocols that run on the internet. Like just something like, of course, people say other people use AI. I'm not saying use AI to write on the internet, but you can use AI to refine. If you are afraid of your writing skills, write it first. Ask AI to help you refine it. Is this English okay? Is there a way I could have positioned this thing better? Let it help you rearrange it. Show it to one of your other friends. I mean, we all have friends, right? If you don't have friends, show it to your mother or your father. Like let them help you refine what you've written, and then if it's good to go, post it. If you write consistently on the internet, it would there's it, people would see you basically, and then when they see you, today you talked about the internet, you are learning how the internet works, tomorrow you are learning how the computer works, and you are constantly talking about these things that you are learning. It will it will make you stand out basically. There are 1,000 people learning software engineering, but you are learning software engineering and you are sharing your experience on software engineering to other people that don't know it, or to other people that are just they might not necessarily like. That's one thing I realized. Like, you're posting, people are seeing your content too, but they are not liking it, they are not even engaging it, they don't care. But
It happens
it
every time. Yeah. The quiet
so don't think
observers.
that, yeah, so don't think that because you're posting and nobody's liking. If you go and check your is it audience engagements they call it on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
you
the
see them.
analytics. Yeah.
They have read it. In fact, they've interacted it. They've shared it with their friend, but they did not like. It doesn't mean that they are not seeing it. So the more you share things online, the more you share things online, the better it becomes. I can say about this because I, of course, I started in, like, when I started my career, but I stopped. But last year again, I started writing about my experiences, sharing it online, and then I've seen like good reviews, I've gotten good feedbacks from even people that are my friends, and
Mm-hmm.
saying that, oh, Motunrayo, I really loved what you wrote this maybe last week, spoke to me about something. And so people are seeing what you are doing basically. And if you are just starting, you want to be excellent. In fact, the job market that we are in is very competitive. So you have to be able to show employers how you can stand out. You need to be able to distinct yourself from every other person that is in the market. So it's one of the ways to, like, stand out as somebody that's just starting out. Another thing I would like to say is going for events, networking. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical events. These events we're having now is virtual, right?
Yep.
You can have virtual events, like, go to events, meet people, talk to them, form genuine relationship. Don't go to event and start I'm not saying try to be who you are not, because I know some people go to events and then they want to familiarize with, like, the top peoples and all of those things. If you go for event, or what has worked for me in my own career, the first event I went for, that Microsoft event, I didn't go. Even when I was there, I was very shy. I was just fresh out of school. I don't know anybody. Everybody, like, the most of the people I talk to when I go for events are most people that are we are on the same level. When I was a beginner, most of the people that we form genuine relationships are people that were on, because we need each other. But if I go
Mm-hmm.
to an event now, I'm not saying don't talk to speakers. It's good to network with them too. But when you start talking to somebody that you need them more than they need you, I feel like it will look like you're begging at a point, because you're constantly in their DM. Hey, I just want to say hi. Like, it's not much. It's not, because they are on a different level in their career. In fact, right now I'm currently thinking of how I'm going to fix maybe a solution at work. And then if somebody that is just starting what is HTML is trying to be my friend, the relationship will not be mutually beneficial. It will look like, of course, I would not want the person to feel bad. I can mentor her. I currently have, like, a mentorship calendar open on mentor club, right? I can mentor if you need, like, help, and maybe once in a while call. But if you want us to now be best buddy, there's going to be like a difference. So prioritize when you are trying to talk to people at events. It's very helpful to talk to people that you're on the same level. People can give yourself in pidgin it's called ginger. Sorry, I can't find the English the English word.
Moral
You
support. You
ginger
can
yourself.
encourage each other.
Yes, you provide support. Yes, you provide support to each other. And before you know it, it's like you guys are helping each other build and become better, like, in career base, in whatever you are doing. When I started AI Saturday classes, it was the friends I made there that told me about Code Academy free subscription. Both all
Mm-hmm.
of us are now back-end engineers. All of
Wow.
us. Nobody's even doing
Wow.
data science again, because
Wow.
they didn't get jobs they wanted, and
Yeah.
we are all doing back-end now, because we were in the same pool. We were all frustrated around the same time when we didn't get the kind of jobs we wanted, and we started learning backend together, and now all of us are learning backend, right? So it happens, things happen. So when you go for events, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. In case you say there's no event happening, you can sign up for online events. You can meet people on LinkedIn too. Maybe you read through somebody's profile, you found it interesting. You can message them, hey, hi, my name is Motunrayo. I'm a software engineer. I'm currently learning software engineering. I see your profile. You are currently in this program. Can you tell me more about it? Can we have a call? Of course, you try not to be too, so it doesn't look like you're begging, or you're trying to take their time, or you're trying to, but everything is diplomacy these days, and knowing how to speak to people, communication skills basically. You can always learn how to speak, how to be better at anything on LinkedIn, on YouTube, for free. So the world
Yeah.
is better now these days.
Yeah.
You can be anything you want to be. So I would say that this, like, from understanding what you want to
Mm-hmm.
learning, and then events. They all of them, they come together to help.
Good summary. Understand what you want, learn voraciously, sign up for events, whether physical or virtually, and meet people. And
Yeah.
something very interesting you said here, build relationship with people at your level, because so many people are just obsessed about building relationship with people up there. But sometimes the people at your level understand you more, and you can build
Yeah.
stronger relationship, that you can all benefit from each other. Let's talk about the software engineering career in the age of AI. Everyone is talking about vibe coding now, that you can just start vibe coding. You can deploy the next application in, maybe if we start now, in the next 4 hours we're going to deploy the next application, and then we're going to onboard thousands of users. And AI is actually here with us, and is disrupting industry, is disrupting career. So, what do you think is the future of software engineering in this age of AI, or what influence do you think AI is going to have on this career, now, even in the future? I know there is, but let's talk about that.
I think the LLM have they have like a strong influence on the industry. I mean, if you're already a good engineer, what AI or LLMs, let me call them LLM because we use LLMs. AI can be very ambiguous because it can mean multiple things, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
what LLMs can do for us is to improve your productivity as an engineer. So AI will already make a good engineer a better engineer. So if you're not a good engineer, AI cannot make you a better engineer because it's not correct all the time. It's not like 100% accurate. So sometimes you have to filter what LLM is bringing. Say you say, help me do XYZ, it will just bring everything. I mean, LLMs have not gotten to that. Maybe in future we'll have LLMs that are very, very smart, that they can read your. So once you just put it, they will do everything exactly. But I, I, I don't know. I don't want to say it will not work 100% because we don't know how things will turn out in future. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even if I'm communicating something to you, I need prompt engineering. I need to be able to exactly explain what I need so that you can support me in the best way possible. So if you're a good engineer, LLMs will improve your. I mean, cloud AI is a machine, it's a beast. It will improve what you currently have. So
Mm-hmm.
you are already a mid-level. It has the potential to make your productivity faster. You can deploy things faster, you can do a lot of things, but it will not. If you don't know anything, you would just be there. It will look like you're in the ocean, and then you just be receiving everything because you cannot decipher if what it's giving you is true or not. So at the end of the day, you write nonsense. That's the truth. Or you would lose a lot of money because you don't know. So we would always still need engineers. The people say, oh, there's LLM now, so bye bye to your jobs. I don't believe that. I mean, at this time, maybe future
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
might change. But I feel like we would always need engineers. What LLMs will just do for us is they'll make our work faster, they'll increase our productivity, make us better engineers. But the fact that you now say that you will not need engineers at all at this time, I don't think LLMs can do that.
Perfect. I think I share that sentiment too. Yeah, especially where you said that if you are a good engineer, LLM will make you a better engineer, because it's sort of building on who you already are. And you talked about
Yes.
prompt engineering, so it's more like it gives to you what you give to it. So if you cannot even ask the right question, then you are also getting
Yes.
not getting the right answer, which is like a skill you need
Yes.
to develop as a person. How
Mm-hmm.
profitable is this career? People talk about, if you go online, everyone is saying, "Oh my God, just be a software engineer today. You start making $1 million. You'll be the next. If you go to San Francisco, go to Y Combinator. Everyone is trying to build the next startup and all of that. So, but I love to find that balance, between doing something I love, and then the something also loving me back by, being profitable to me, both financially, emotionally, professionally, career-wise, and all of that. So, how profitable is this career, or do you think this career is? How has it been for you so far? How is it worth it? Is it worth all of that commitment? Does it give back to me the way I'm also giving my time and energy to it? Let's talk about that briefly.
Yeah. So software engineers are one of the top people that earn, I mean, globally, even if you're in Nigeria, right, you definitely earn like, of course, maybe when you're a beginner, you might start as an intern and all of those things. But when you grow in your career, it will get better. You would earn at least above average, above what the average person in another industry is earning. So even if
So,
you're in Nigeria, you're in the US, I can't
mhm.
give figures, but if you check like Glassdoor,
Yeah.
there's a range. There's a range of the salary expectation that, of course, there are some employers that would not choose to cheat you. And now you know that the market is a bit bad. A lot of people are unemployed and companies don't have money. So there's like a crash globally, not even in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere, companies don't have money to drop again. But on the average engineer would earn above the average profession, basically. Careers, if you're a cracked engineer, you have money, you can be in Nigeria and you're earning in USD. So
Sweet.
you'd have, even if you're working for a Nigerian company, your
Right.
salary would still be like above like the average range.
Perfect. Yeah. And if you're here with us live, that's a good time for you to drop your question as we begin to round up. But let's talk about this before as we begin to round up. And globally, there is available data that shows that globally women make up about. So there's no way I was not going to talk about this. Women make up about roughly 28% of software engineers. So which means about the other 70% are men. Even in Nigeria, where you work from, women are roughly like 18%. So which means like 80% are men. And you are right there in that industry that is, sort of, filled up with men when compared to statistically with the women. So how are you navigating that, and what is your weight for other young women out there who are trying to, get into that kind of industry and build a career there in an industry that is like statistically there is so much imbalance?
Yeah. So one of the things I do actively is I actively try to mentor young women, especially early career women, just so that they can see like the potentials and then the opportunities. People are scared of especially back end. Since in the last 5 years, I've been the only girl in different companies. I've been the only girl. And sometimes it can be even intimidating for me because I'm like, but I
Where are
mean,
my
me when I
sisters?
started, it was intimidating. It was intimidating, like, hey, I'm the only one. Oh, hope they are not. But now, I mean, I think I'm already getting used to it. We actually need more women coming into engineering, knowing that they can do it. Because I feel like when people hear back end, there's this, hey, especially if you're working in fintech, because fintech, you're dealing with a lot of money. Even you're dealing with like any mistake you make can lead to problems, basically.
Yeah.
But understanding that software engineering is not just you, it's the team together. So even if you push nonsense, somebody will have to review the code to know that what you've written makes sense, right? So one of the things I actively do is I'm always looking for opportunities to like mentor young women, especially early career women that are coming into software engineering. Lately, I also started like speaking at events, so other women can know that women can do all these things. It's not the opportunities are not just available for the men or the um the career or the industry. And then women should not think that they need to go into seemingly easy like career. When people think about when women, or what I've seen from the data is, when women think of coming into tech, they feel like, oh, let's just stay in products. Products is a great career, but you can, if you want to do engineering, don't say because you're already in products, because you think that products is easier, let me just do product. No, you can actually do it. And one of the ways I do is by giving back and allowing everybody know that you can do it. I'm constantly talking about how how I did it, or I
Mm-hmm.
try to talk about it, and I try to show up like in places where, like, for example, if you check my LinkedIn, I'm active on LinkedIn, just so you know that. And then I have like a calendar. I think I mentioned this earlier. I have a calendar of mentoring club where people can book an hour of my time and then talk to me. If you want to talk about career, I'm there. So so I feel like women are, maybe it's people that advert. And again, there are a lot of boot camps that advertising, come and be a product manager in 3 months. Engineering itself, you cannot be, you have to dedicate time. Good things take time, right? So don't think that it's magic that you just start today, you just start earning the millions today. No, it takes time, right? Good things take time. So you have to dedicate time. You have to be passionate about learning, hungry, basically, because if you're not hungry in engineering, you're not going anywhere. You will just be floating, floating. You need to be exceptional. Try to be
Yeah,
like an excellent person.
yeah. I like that. And for you, young woman listening to that, that's your shout out that you can actually do whatever you want to do. You can actually fill in that gap. It's a 70-30 now. You can bring that to a 50-50 or maybe a 70-30. That can switch at any time. But, someone needs to go in there and fill in that gap. And there is nobody stopping you. There is no barrier that says you have to go this way or you have to go the other way. You can really just go out there and be whatever you want to be. And even on this video, I'm going to put Motunrayo's link to her LinkedIn, and then that's going to be a perfect place for you to connect with her. And one last question, I hope this is the last, is what is that thing about you that is not public? About your professional life. People, I know people, because in this show, I tell people that I bring people on this show to talk about their career journey that you cannot find on their LinkedIn profile. So the LinkedIn profile is so curated. So what is that thing that about your career that is not public knowledge or we can't find on your LinkedIn profile?
About my career,
Yeah.
there's no pop. I'm trying to think about it. Which one is not public? I actually really like teaching. You probably noticed from me talking about mentoring. So far, since I graduated from the university since 2019, I have trained quite a number of people on different things. One is back end, which was I've done. I think I've done some were like virtual, some are physical, but like I'm constantly teaching people, or most especially women, how to like get into tech, how to start a career basically. So
Mm-hmm.
some might not necessarily be maybe like a physical class with a like a teacher and all of those things, but I've actively like joined like classes online to teach people. I remember that even when I was in the university from like 2018 to like 2019, 2020, I did like a brief stint with Google Digital Skills for Africa where I was teaching people how to use the internet. This was not even how to write code, how to use the internet to grow their lives, their businesses. Yes. So I really love teaching. I don't think it's quite pronounced on my LinkedIn. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
right. Thank you. I like that. And the last one now, what shout out will you want to give out to everyone that will be watching this? What did we not talk about that you wanted to just let us know, or anyone that will be seeing this at any point in time?
Okay. I think that if you are thinking about a career in software, you should not overthink it. Like even the people that are here, they don't have two heads. So if you are thinking of a career you want to start, don't 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 think that you cannot do it. You can actually do anything you set your mind to do. If you want to go to mass today, you can do it. It's not like it will just happen. You have to like have a plan. Maybe you have like a 4-year plan, a 5-year plan. But for career, you can start with like something like a 2-year plan. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the next 2 years, I want to be working as a software engineer. How do I start from here that I know nothing? Okay, I'll start from this particular course on YouTube in month one. Have the goal, the objective, have a goal, have objectives, make it specific, measurable, achievable, and time bound, right? Make it realistic, be ticking it one after the other. Don't feel like you're not enough, especially if you're a woman. Please come into software engineering. Please, we need you. We need more women. So if you're a woman, please, I'm encouraging you to come into software engineering. If you're a man too, please come join us. And it's it will pay off later on. Like it takes time, but it will pay off. And when you join, don't expect magic in the first 3 months. It's not yahoo yahoo you get. So you need to show that you need to be excellent. You need to show that you're deserving of the opportunities. And that 1 year, that 2 year that you are just logged in or being a cracked engineer, it will pay off later on.
Thank you so much, Motunrayo. And as we round up in our typical culture on My Career Chronicle, this is episode 8. Motunrayo, coffee or tea?
Mm, see.
Tea. Okay, we have another tea person. And that's it, guys, on My Career Chronicles, episode 8, starting and building. your career as a software engineer. Thank you very much, Motunrayo, for your time. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. And you have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.